to the next point.
Towards
We should ensure
us.
whatever we say is clear.
That means work is being done. We can see that it is in opposite direction.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين أما بعد. Students and viewers at home, you are welcome to this edition of Islamic Studies in the ongoing e-learning program of Kaduna State Ministry of Education for senior secondary schools. Our topic of discussion today will be gambling and dignity of labor. We're going to look at these two topics, inshallah, gambling and dignity of labor. Under this, we are going to see the definition of gambling, what gambling means, Quranic verses on gambling. We are going to look at what we mean by dignity of labor, and we are going to present some hadith that is talking about dignity of labor. Gambling. We now look at gambling. It is a game of chance in which people benefit from what they did not work for. Yes, it is a game of chance. In it, people benefit from what they did not work for. Islam forbids it. You have to eat from your own labor. You have to eat from halal, and halal has to be from what you labored for. There are various types of gambling, which include pool, betting, lottery, betting with horse and money on cards, etc. What they do sometimes is not bet with specified sum of money or properties on the outcome of a game. It is to base on the winning of the value or chance and not work. What I mean by this is that sometimes in gambling, it is not specified that these are the criteria for you to win. No. They gather people's properties, people's money, then choose on their own those that will benefit from this. Therefore, it is a gambling. People, millions, they are not giving it completely to the person that won. No, the company will take its own share and then give the remaining to some people, which is very, very wrong Islamically, because you are taking people's properties as your own. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, يَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الْخَمْرِ وَالْمَيْسِرِ قُلْ فِيهِمَا إِثْمٌ كَبِيرٌ وَمَنَافِعُ لِلنَّاسِ وَإِثْمُهُمَا أَكْبَرُ مِنْ نَفْعِهِمَا. This is the place I'm talking about. يَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الْخَمْرِ وَالْمَيْسِرِ قُلْ فِيهِمَا إِثْمٌ كَبِيرٌ وَمَنَافِعُ لِلنَّاسِ وَإِثْمُهُمَا أَكْبَرُ مِنْ نَفْعِهِمَا وَيَسْأَلُونَكَ مَاذَا يُنْفِقُونَ قُلِ الْعَفْوَ كَذَلِكَ يُبَيِّنُ اللَّهُ لَكُمُ الْآيَاتِ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَفَكَّرُونَ. Meaning, they ask you, O Muhammad, your people will ask you about alcohol and gambling. Tell them, if they ask you this question about alcohol and gambling, tell them that in them, that is in alcohol and gambling, is a great sin. There is a great sin in alcohol, there is a great sin in gambling, and some benefits for men. But there are some benefits, little benefits for people that are using them. But the sin in them is greater than their benefits. The sin in gambling, the sin in alcohol are greater than the benefits derived from these two things. They will also ask you what to spend. Tell them what is surplus in your wealth. Those Allah makes clear to you, laws. These are laws from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and these laws are made clear for everybody so that we will reflect them, so that we will always be thinking about these laws of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah gives laws, Allah gives commands Our own is just to obey Allah's commandments, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Let's take a look at some commentaries on this ayah. Taking alcohol and gambling have a lot of disadvantages. Therefore, one should avoid them. There are lots of disadvantages in alcohol. There are lots of disadvantages in gambling. Our topic of discussion is gambling. But in the verse, they come together with alcohol. That is why we're talking about alcohol and gambling. Therefore, we have to avoid them because the disadvantages in them is greater than the advantages. What are even the advantages? You know, you take a pride taking people's properties. It is not your own. You didn't work for it. It is not a gift to you. You are taking it away. Therefore, Allah forbids it. We have to avoid them. Evils in gambling include being the work of shaitan. It is the work of shaitan. It is a handiwork of shaitan, and shaitan is our clear enemy. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told us that shaitan is our clear enemy. So we have to treat him as an enemy. If an enemy is leading you, you have to think twice. If an enemy is telling you, go this way, you have to think twice. And your Lord who created you has told you that this your enemy is your clear, this your shaitan is your clear enemy. You have no enemy than shaitan. Shaitan is your greatest enemy. And Allah said, all these are handworks of shaitan. Therefore, for you to succeed, you have to shun them. You have to avoid them so that you may succeed. Being the handwork of shaitan makes it un-Islamic. Gambling causes enmity and hatred in the society. Yes. Gambling causes enmity. It causes hatred in the society. As how? I know that what I donated is taken to you. People gathered money, including me, and you are the only one benefiting from all our properties. Therefore, I look at you as if you've cheated me. That is why how it causes enmity between people. Allah says, He don't want us to be enemies of one another. He wants us to be friends. He wants us to live in peace. And one of the ways to live in peace is to avoid gambling, because it causes enmity between the people. It causes hatred between the people. It can prevent one from performing salat and remembrance of Allah. People who are in their places of gambling, they don't even think of praying. They don't think of anything, remembrance of Allah. Al-Adhkar, they have no time for it. And one has no time to waste in this world. You have to be doing what will benefit you. If you are not doing what will benefit you in this world, you have to do what will benefit you in the next world. And this gambling, Allah tells you that it will not benefit you in your next world. It will even cheat you in your next world. Even if it is going to benefit you in this world, in the year after, you are going to pay for it. It can lead to addiction. One that is so used to gambling will hardly leave it. Because if an amount of money or properties is given to you, you think if you give another one, more of that will come your way. Therefore, it causes addiction. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam says that those who engage in them are not Muslims at the time of the act. Person taking alcohol, when he is taking that alcohol, he is not a Muslim. He has no iman. Iman is taken away from you during that period when you are on that act. Therefore, we want to die as Muslims, therefore we have to live at all times as Muslims. But when you are taking alcohol, when you are practicing that gambling, when you are doing all these un-Islamic attitudes, you have no iman. The next one is, therefore, should one die in the act, one has died as a kafir. Yes. They said, the Prophet ﷺ said, if you engage yourself in all these vices, you are not a Muslim at the time you are doing it. Therefore, should you die that particular time, you died as kafir. And we want to die as Muslims. If we are to die as Muslims, we have to live at all times as Muslims. It discourages labor. It discourages labor. Yes. You don't want to work. You become very lazy. You depend on what you get from gambling. Therefore, you don't want to work. And a Muslim is not to be lazy. No, laziness is not for us at all. Sitting down doing nothing, it is not for us. It is exploitative to many losers or as against one winner. So many people gathered something. Just one person took it away. And there's no day he will repay back to them. This is completely un-Islamic. This causes hatred between people. It can lead to addiction. The next one is dignity of labor. Dignity of labor. Islam encourages every Muslim to seek a lawful livelihood for himself and his family, and not to beg as he is capable of earning a living. Islam wants you to work for yourself, to feed yourself, feed your family, and help others too. Islam doesn't want begging. Begging is un-Islamic. Begging is not an Islamic attitude. Islam doesn't encourage it at all. One must not refuse any lawful occupation on account of its being low in dignity. No. Whatever your status may be, look for something doing. Instead of you to remain at home doing nothing, depending on others to help you, begging people, look for something to do. Look for one occupation. Look for something to do, no matter how low it may be. Allah may put barakah in it. Allah can bless it. You can excel by the wish of God. What you need to do is to engage yourself in something doing so that you and your family can live peacefully, inshallah. And if you can do that, God will bless it for you, definitely. While it is honorable to work to earn a living, it is dishonorable to depend on begging for a living. It is honorable for you to work, earn your livelihood, feed yourself, feed your family, help others. It is dishonorable for you to depend on others. It is dishonorable for you to beg others for something to eat, for something to live on. It is shameful indeed. Even if you are given, it is shameful. You collect it, not with dignity. Let's look at this hadith on dignity of labor. The Holy Prophet ﷺ said, لَأَنْ يَأْخُذَ أَحَدُكُمْ حَبْلَهُ فَيَأْتِي بِحُزْمَةِ خَطَبٍ عَلَى ظَهْرِهِ فَيَبِيعَهَا فَيَكُفَّ اللَّهُ بِهَا وَجْهَهُ خَيْرٌ لَهُ مِنْ أَنْ يَسْأَلَ النَّاسَ أَعْطَوْهُ أَوْ مَنَعُوهُ. I repeat again. لَأَنْ يَأْخُذَ أَحَدُكُمْ حَبْلَهُ فَيَأْتِي بِحُزْمَةِ خَطَبٍ عَلَى ظَهْرِهِ فَيَبِيعَهَا فَيَكُفَّ اللَّهُ بِهَا وَجْهَهُ خَيْرٌ لَهُ مِنْ أَنْ يَسْأَلَ النَّاسَ أَعْطَوْهُ أَوْ مَنَعُوهُ. This is hadith from the Holy Prophet ﷺ. Meaning that one of you take his rope, go to the mountain, go to a bush, bring back a bundle of wood, on his back and sell it, with which Allah should save his honor, with which he will save his family, is better for him than begging, whether they give him or not. You can beg, you have no assurance that you will be given what you begged for. You may be given, you may not be given what you begged for. So it is better for you to go inside the bush, look for firewood, bring it into the town, sell it to have something to eat. It's better for you to go and beg people. What the Prophet is referring to here is that you should not see any occupation as very, very low. Do it. Allah can bless it for you, and you will have your livelihood through it, inshallah. In another hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said, "Ma akala ahadun ta'aman qattu khayrun lahu min an ya'kula min amali yadayhi." I repeat it again. Ma akala ahadun ta'aman qattu khayrun lahu min an ya'kula min amali yadayhi. Meaning, never has anyone eaten better food than what he eats from his work done by his hands. Never has anyone eaten better food than he who eats from work done by his hands. There's no better food for you than what you earn from your own hands. What you did, what you worked for, you are paid for. There's no person that eats better food than you if you are eating from your own labor. For that, the Prophet ﷺ said, "U'tu al-ajra ajrahu, u'tu al-ajira ajrahu qabla an yajiffa arkuhu. U'tu al-ajira ajrahu qabla an yajiffa arkuhu." Give the laborer his wage before his sweat dries. Give a laborer his wage before his sweat dries. If you take somebody to work for you, do not delay the payment. You don't know what brought him to that work. Therefore, give him his wage, give him his work, give him his money before his sweat dries off. Because he may need that money to go and feed his family. Do not delay the payment. If you have a company, people working under you, do not delay the payment. Whenever it is time for the payment, do it, because people depend on that salary. People depend on the wage for the labor of their hands. What are the lessons from this hadith? One should go and work to earn his livelihood. Go out and work. Do not remain at home. Do not beg anybody. Go out and look for something to do so that you will earn your livelihood. Products of one's physical labor is beneficial than that of gambling and begging. What you get from your labor, what you earn from your labor is better for you than what you earn from gambling, than what you earn from begging, because gambling and begging are un-Islamic. Islam doesn't encourage begging. Islam doesn't encourage gambling. Gambling is a sin. Begging is equally a sin. The Prophet ﷺ didn't allow us to do that. One should not delay payment of his employees after the work has been done. If the work had been done, pay the wage, pay the due. All suitable, lawful work is dignifying. Anything that is halal, go into it. Any occupation that is halal, go into it. Any labor that Allah did not prevent you, go into it. seeking for what to eat, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will provide it for you. The prophets of God too engaged in labor. The prophets of God engaged in labor. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself was a laborer for somebody before he becomes a prophet. He was rearing cattle for people to pay him. Therefore, for you to remain without anything doing is un-Islamic. Islam didn't encourage you to do that. Do not be at home, relying on others to give you what to eat. It is obligatory, it is compulsory for every person to engage himself in lawful labor. What we mean is it has to be lawful. Because you have nothing to do, didn't allow you to go into gambling or begging or anything that is not lawful. I have an assignment to keep you busy. You have a lot to do at home. The first one is, what is gambling? What do we mean by gambling? It was discussed here. Second one, explain the harmful effects of gambling. What are the harmful effects of gambling? 3, quote relevant sayings of the Holy Prophet ﷺ that encourage Muslims to earn their living through labor. Quote relevant sayings of the Holy Prophet ﷺ that encourage Muslims to earn their living through labor. These are the assignments I leave you with. I repeat again. What is gambling? Number 1, what is gambling? Number 2, explain the harmful effects of gambling. Number 3, quote relevant sayings of the Prophet ﷺ that encourage Muslims to earn their living through labor. These are the assignments. References for you to go and learn more or to write this assignment. You can contact these 2 books, Islamic Studies for Senior Secondary Schools by Aisha Lemu, Islamic Studies for Senior Secondary Schools by B. Aisha Lemu. 2, Islamic Studies for West African School Certificate Examination and NECO Exam Focus. These 2 books will guide you, inshallah. My name is Jibril Ahmad Shehu. If you are through with the assignment, you can send it to 080-6023-5708. I take it again, 080-6023-5708, or my email address, jibahmads@gmail.com. Stay safe, keep learning, fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Remember, gambling and begging are un-Islamic. Do not go into them. Fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in what all you are doing. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.